Unconsciously, a month has already passed. In this past month, I've been alternating between using the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. Can you guess which handheld console I've used the most? Alright, here's the reveal: Steam Deck. During this past month of use, whether from a software or hardware perspective, I've personally been quite disappointed with the ROG Ally. Perhaps I had too many expectations before getting it. Despite its hardware parameters and performance surpassing the Steam Deck comprehensively, it's been difficult for me to overcome my disappointment with it at this stage. Whether running games directly or streaming from a PC or PS5, I personally prefer and find it more convenient to use the Steam Deck. I won't go into the strengths of the ROG Ally in this video, such as its high-quality screen, powerful performance, solid trigger key feel, excellent craftsmanship, etc. The aspects that amazed me are mostly centered around these points. For more detailed content, please refer to my previous video. Today, I mainly want to discuss the aspects of my displeasure during the usage process. If you're also a user of the ROG Ally and have something to add or share, please leave a comment below. As a major selling point of the ROG Ally, AMOURY Crate serves as the hardware and system control center. It allows adjustments for system TDP, gamepad button presets, fan control, and more. AMOURY Crate is indispensable for the ROG Ally experience, but this essential software is plagued with constant bugs. For example, a frequent issue I encounter is the inability to launch AMOURY Crate, resulting in a blank control interface upon startup. There's significant room for optimization and improvement. While Steam Deck was also a bit unfinished in terms of software during its initial release, you must understand that Valve was optimizing and updating the entire SteamOS system, not just a single software component. The frequency of SteamOS updates and upgrades is unexpectedly high, with updates sometimes happening multiple times a day. However, the ROG Ally is different, running on Windows. It only requires optimization and improvement for AMOURY Crate. At the time of recording this video, it has been almost 2 weeks since the last update, which only brought minor UI adjustments like adding battery level display. This isn't what I wanted. ASUS, if you're watching this video, please improve the stability of the software's operation and address crucial aspects like enabling Gyro and optimizing gamepad button customization. During this past month of use, I've only attempted to push the power consumption to its maximum a few times. It's not that I didn't want to utilize its maximum power, but even with the ROG Ally's dual-fan cooling design, it struggles to control its temperature under maximum power consumption. Although the Steam Deck also generates a lot of heat, it's mostly limited to the right side and back of the screen, not extending beyond the right-hand grip. However, with the ROG Ally under full load, the entire screen emits heat, and you can feel the heat even at the button locations. Moreover, all the ports are concentrated around the cooling fins surrounding the screen, right above it. Is ASUS concerned that there isn't enough heat buildup, or are they aiming for a shorter hardware lifespan? Due to overheating issues, problems have arisen, primarily focusing on the overheating damage to the SD card and its slot. I'm genuinely worried about the USB-C port next to the SD card, the XG mobile port, and even the screen-facing problems due to overheating. This truly feels like a ticking time bomb. This problem can be considered an inherent hardware design and layout flaw. So, can lowering the power consumption be a solution? You might be overestimating it. This ROG Ally, powered by the Z1 Extreme, isn't a low-power APU. The attractive power efficiency only becomes apparent when the TDP exceeds 13 watts. The overall power consumption of the system is around 25 watts or higher, and the temperature is around 65 to 70 degrees Celsius, not to mention the temperature under full load. If ASUS were to release another version of the Ally with a different Z1, I strongly urge them to reconsider the hardware interface layout. Handheld, with a focus on the word hand, it implies the ability to replace a mouse and keyboard. However, due to its singular button customization settings, most of the time, I find it unappealing to use it for gaming, even with the powerful Z1 Extreme Performance Boost. Why would I bother connecting a keyboard and mouse when I could just use my PC? I've mentioned it in many of my videos. The ability to freely enable gyroscopes is a top priority in my consideration and choice of gamepad and handheld controller, especially for FPS games. Whether the gyro is on or off directly affects my decision to continue playing. At this stage, not being able to activate the gyroscope means I'm unlikely to use the ROG Ally for playing any FPS games. Even if I were to take the ROG Ally on the go, a mouse and keyboard would likely be necessary. ASUS, could you please add an option to enable gyroscope in the next update? I can't record macros for gamepad buttons. While the game interface already shows gamepad controls, the macro recording interface only supports keyboard macros. Additionally, there's a limit on the number of macros in a same macro. If I want to record macros, I need to switch back to the game and find the corresponding keyboard keys to record. Is this a test of my memory? Because of this, I rarely use the L4 or 4 back buttons. Only one set of customizations can be saved for each game, and there's no way to import or share customizations with the community. Some games require multiple customizations, which can easily be achieved on the Steam Deck, where you can easily switch between configurations and find community-shared gamepad settings. However, on the ROG Ally, through AMOURY Crate, you can only set one gamepad configuration for each game. If you want to switch between configurations, you have to manually reset them one by one, which is quite cumbersome. If the ROG Ally is meant to be a handheld console, it currently falls short. But as a handheld PC, is it qualified? The answer is maybe not. With a 7-inch screen, the concerns I raised about Windows system interaction in my videos before getting the ROG Ally still hold true. As we know, compared to the Steam Deck, it lacks 2 touchpads on the sides and 2 rear buttons. The 7-inch touchscreen, combined with the Windows operating system, presents a challenge with numerous Windows shortcuts and poor optimization for finger touch. As a longtime user of the Surface Pro, I can attest that using a touchscreen pen or mouse is worlds apart from using fingers. The touchscreen of the Surface Pro seems tailored for the Surface Pen. Even using my fingers on a 12-inch screen like the Surface Pro can lead to a lot of accidental touches. You can imagine the difficulty of controlling Windows on such a small touchscreen. Steam Deck's desktop mode isn't perfect either, but fortunately, it has 2 touchpads. Compared to joysticks, touchpads are more comfortable and direct for me. Most operations can be completed without external devices, except for coding. However, the ROG Ally only provides finger touch and joysticks as solutions, which means that most of the time I still need to have a keyboard and mouse on hand. The positions of the depicted L4 are 4 buttons, and the actual positions of the L4 are 4 buttons are reversed. Don't ask me how I know. The first time I customized the back buttons, I even thought the L4 or 4 buttons on my ROG Ally were defective. In summary, the points I've raised are the personal issues I've encountered during a month of use, and I truly can't tolerate the shortcomings of the ROG Ally's software and hardware. I've been constantly pondering, what exactly is the ROG Ally? In my perspective, it's not a handheld console. It's more like ASUS forcefully pieced together various cutting-edge hardware components with inadequate hardware design considerations. It's essentially a PC with built-in gamepad buttons. It feels more like an experimental device. Once you have it, if you intend to take it out, a mouse and keyboard are undoubtedly necessary. Despite completely outperforming the Steam Deck in terms of hardware specifications, the question remains, what's next? The impressive performance cannot compensate for the inconveniences and frustrations during actual use. When the Steam Deck was initially released, it was also a work in progress, albeit mostly in terms of software. At least, there were no significant design flaws in the hardware layout, other than the initial issue caused by a low-quality USB-C hub that resulted in some Steam Decks being bricked, which was resolved through software updates. There haven't been other hardware-related problems caused by design flaws. However, what about the ROG Ally? The problem of the SD card and slot overheating is clearly a hardware design flaw that cannot be addressed through later software updates. As an Ally user, I'm constantly concerned about when this issue might arise. In terms of software, Valve has been continuously updating the Steam Deck, striving to bring their envisioned handheld console to life. But what about the ROG Ally? Since its release, it's been almost 2 weeks without any substantial updates. AMOURY Crate is a major selling point, but unfortunately, the functionalities within this selling point have remained incomplete. The capabilities of Gamepad customization are lackluster. With only single-button assignments available and the inability to officially activate the 6-axis gyroscope, the frustrating and puzzling Windows interaction issues, sporadic blank menu bugs upon startup, the potential for improvement in the software of the ROG Ally is significant. However, the hardware flaws cannot be resolved through later software updates. I personally estimate that a wave of second-hand ROG Ally devices might soon hit the market. Furthermore, if Asus intends to release another version of the handheld console with a different Z1, I genuinely hope they avoid repeating these shortcomings and issues. If you're also a ROG Ally user, do you have anything you'd like to say? Please leave a comment below the video. Thank you.